Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for being here today. I'm really excited to talk to you because I want to share a story that completely changed my life. It's a simple idea, but it turned everything around for me. It's the reason I'm standing up here talking to you right now, instead of sitting in the back of the room wondering why my life didn't work out. My rock bottom, let me take you back a few years. I was completely broke. I mean really broke, the kind of broke where you're counting coins to buy food. I was working as a salesman, and every single day I would go out and knock on doors trying to sell products, and every single day I would fail. I didn't understand what I was doing wrong, so I was trying hard. I was showing up, but nothing was working. I started to believe that maybe success was just about luck. Maybe some people were just born lucky, born with special talents, and I wasn't one of those people. Maybe I just didn't have what it takes. Have you ever felt that way? Like no matter how hard you try, things just don't work out. That's exactly where I was. The question that changed everything. One night I was sitting alone in my tiny rented room. It was a small, cheap place, all I could afford at the time. I was feeling really low, really discouraged. And in that moment of quiet, I asked myself one simple question. Why do some people succeed much faster than others? That question stuck in my head. I couldn't stop thinking about it. It kept me up at night. It followed me around during the day. And slowly I started to really look for the answer. What I discovered, I started watching the top performers in my company, the people who were making 10 times more money than me, the ones driving nice cars and living in nice homes. And here's what surprised me. They didn't seem any smarter than me. They didn't come from wealthy families. They didn't have fancy college degrees. In fact, many of them had even less education than I did. Some of them had started from exactly where I was, broke and struggling, but they had one thing I didn't have, one crucial thing. They had a clear plan. These successful people knew exactly what they wanted. They had written goals. They had daily routines, and they worked on their plan every single day, no matter what. Rain or shine, motivated or not, they just kept going. My decision to change, so I made a decision right there. I decided to copy what they were doing. I thought, if they can do it, why can't I? I started making some big changes in my life. First, I changed my morning routine. I started waking up earlier, sometimes at 5 a.m. or even earlier. Those quiet morning hours became my learning time. While everyone else was sleeping, I was getting better. Second, I became a student again. I read every book I could find about sales, about motivation, about how successful people think. I went to the library and checked out stacks of books. I bought used books from thrift stores. I read during lunch breaks, before bed, whenever I had a free moment. Third, I used every spare minute. While I was driving to appointments, I listened to educational cassette tapes. This was before podcasts existed. I turned my car into a mobile classroom. Those hours on the road became learning hours instead of wasted time. Fourth, I took notes on everything. I watched the top salespeople carefully. When they talked to customers, I listened. When they made a sale, I wrote down exactly what they said and how they said it. I studied them like a scientist studying an experiment. Fifth, I practiced. I didn't just learn, I practiced. I would repeat the exact words the top performers used. I would practice my pitch in front of a mirror. I would role-play with anyone who would help me. I practiced until it became natural. The results, and you know what happened? Within just 1 year, my whole life changed. I went from being one of the worst salesmen in my entire company to being one of the best. My income increased dramatically. My confidence grew. People started asking me for advice instead of the other way around. Was it a miracle? No. Was it luck? Absolutely not. It was a system, a proven system that I followed step by step. The big lesson, and that's what I want you to understand today. This is really important, so please listen carefully. Success is not an accident. Success is predictable. Let me say that again. Success is predictable. If you do the same things that successful people do, and you keep doing those things long enough, you will get the same results they get. It's like a recipe. If you follow a recipe for chocolate cake exactly, you'll get chocolate cake. If you follow the recipe for success exactly, you'll get success. It really is that simple. Why don't more people succeed? Now you might be thinking, if success is so predictable, why doesn't everyone succeed? Why are so many people still struggling? That's a really good question. And here's the honest answer. Most people don't fully commit to the process. They want success, but they don't want to do what success requires. They hope things will get better. They wish for a better life. They dream about success, but they don't take complete responsibility for making it happen. Let me explain what I mean by responsibility. It means not blaming your boss when things go wrong, not blaming the economy, not blaming your education or your background, not blaming your parents or your circumstances, not making excuses. Taking responsibility means saying, my life is my responsibility, and if I want it to change, I have to change it myself. The waiting game. Here's another thing I noticed. Most people wait. They're always waiting. They wait for the right opportunity to come along. They wait for the perfect time to start. They wait for a lucky break. They wait for someone to give them permission or encouragement. But here's the truth, and this might be hard to hear. There is no perfect time. There's no magical moment when everything lines up perfectly. There's only now. There's only today. The moment you decide to take full control of your life, that's when real change begins. My turning point when I finally made that decision. When I stopped waiting and started doing, everything shifted. It was like a switch flipped inside me. I stopped blaming my circumstances. I stopped making excuses for why I wasn't succeeding. I stopped waiting to feel motivated or inspired. Instead, I made a clear plan, and I followed that plan every single day, even on days when I didn't feel like it. And through this process, I learned one of the most important rules of success. If you want your life to improve, you must improve yourself first. The inner and outer world, think of it this way. Your outer world, your income, your relationships, your lifestyle, your results, is a direct reflection of your inner world, your thoughts, your habits, your knowledge, your discipline. If you want to earn more money, you must become more valuable. You must develop more skills. You must learn more. You must grow as a person. If you want greater success in any area, you must develop greater discipline, sharper focus, and deeper knowledge in that area. The outside changes when the inside changes, not the other way around. The daily question. Here's a powerful habit I want you to start today. Every single morning, as soon as you wake up, ask yourself this question. What can I learn today that will help me grow? Just asking that question changes how you see your day. Suddenly, every experience becomes a learning opportunity. Every conversation can teach you something. Every challenge can make you stronger. Because here's the truth. Growth is the real key to success. Learners versus know-it-alls. Successful people are always learning. Always. They read books. They take courses. They listen to people who know more than they do. They study. They practice. They refine their approach. They're never satisfied with what they already know. On the other hand, unsuccessful people often think they already know enough. They stop learning. They stop growing. They think, I already know how to do this, or I don't need to learn that. But here's what I discovered. Success doesn't come to people who think they know everything. Success comes to people who stay humble and keep learning, no matter how much they already know. Even today, after all these years of success, I'm still learning. I still read books. I still go to seminars. I still ask questions. Because the moment you stop learning, you start falling behind. Success leaves clues. One of the greatest lessons I ever learned is this simple truth. Success leaves clues. What does that mean? It means that successful people leave behind a trail that you can follow. They've already figured out what works. They've already made the mistakes and learned from them. They've already found the path. Your job is simply to find someone who has the results you want and then study them carefully. Watch what they do every day. Notice how they think about problems. See how they manage their time. Observe how they treat other people. Pay attention to their habits, their routines, their attitudes.